Ajua, you stole my man. I, Lady Ama, will not be miserable. I will deal with you. It has been 3 years since Ajua's wedding, and she is already pregnant with her second baby. Her husband, Kwame, pampered her so much, as he would always say to her, "Baby, you are the best thing that has ever happened to me. I was rich in money before I met you, but now I am richer in money and in peace of mind. Thank you for accepting me in your life." Meanwhile, Ama lived in misery, but would always cover it with makeup and expensive clothes. She couldn't believe that she, Lady Ama, the same person who controlled Kumasi for 26 years, has been reduced to a housewife by force. 3 years of her marriage with Richard, and she have lost 3 pregnancies. She couldn't even speak up because she had already made people believe she have the best life. Months later, an Ajua who was pregnant put to birth. Ama, not wanting it to look like she was jealous, visited her at her house. When she got to Ajua's house, Ajua and Kwame welcomed her with smiles. She looked around and scoffed. "Ajua, so you haven't changed these curtains? Poor people and holding on to things," she said. Ajua looked at her and sighed. "Ama, what can I offer you?" Ama sat on a couch and crossed her legs like a queen. "Call your maid, let me order for what I want. A new mother should be resting. Or, don't tell me you haven't gotten a maid too," she added with a sarcastic tone. "Ama, I don't have a maid. I don't need one because Kwame have been of great help. If you really need the service of a maid, you can go to your house where you have plenty of them," Ajua replied calmly. Ama, though pained at how happy Ajua's home is, scoffed. She had lied to Ajua that she have tons of servants at her mansion, bragging about how Richard treats her like a queen, but have never allowed anyone to visit her. Not long, Kwame came out of the kitchen holding a tray of fresh juice. He handed the tray to Ama, who took it with style, and then he turned to Ajua. "Odome, I hope you are not stressing yourself." Ajua smiled and said, "Odome, you are spoiling me." Ama suddenly started coughing. She immediately stood up, faked a cold, and left hurriedly, promising to be back. When she got to her car, she banged the car door and held the steering tightly, muttering to herself, "Ama, this could have been your life." Tears rolled down her eyes, not because of regret, but out of pain and jealousy. She drove her car to her house and slumped on the luxurious sofa in her living room. She looked around and said to herself, "Ama, for how long will you keep enduring this pain? Look at the big house I live in. Yet, I'm not happy. Ajua is happy. Richard is happy. Kwame is happy. But I am not. No, I won't take this anymore. I have to end it." She smiled to herself as a thought crossed her mind. She picked up her car keys and left the house. The next morning, Ama woke up earlier than usual with smiles. She entered the kitchen and prepared jollof rice for Richard, singing loudly while doing so. She served Richard his breakfast with smiles, something she had never done before. But Richard, who doesn't care if she smiled or cried, ignored her and started eating the food. 5 minutes later, he started coughing. Ama, who sat opposite him, watched him. She stood up and offered him some water, but before the water could touch his mouth, he fell to the ground. Still, for a moment, Ama stood beside him, waiting for him to stand up. But when she saw that he wasn't moving, panic set in. She shook him violently, but he didn't respond. She ran out, calling for help. At the hospital, the doctors examined him, shook their head, and said to Ama, "He is dead." Ama's world spun around and she collapsed. When she woke up, she wailed. She added a substance to his food, not to kill him, but to make him do her biddings. Now, he is dead. She didn't mean to kill him. She wanted to be in control again. After Richard's burial, Ama Ama was left alone with only few of her friends and family. And whenever she saw Ajua, she would start crying again. She killed her own husband because she wanted to get back at her sister. 2 weeks after Richard's burial, everybody had returned to their various homes, leaving Ama alone. And as she sat in the big living room she once shared with Richard, a hot tear escaped from her eyes. But she cleaned it quickly, stood up and smiled. Ajua, you stole my man. I, Lady Ama, will not be miserable. I will deal with you, she said with a red eye. That night, as Ama laid on their big luxurious bed alone to sleep, she heard a knock on the door. She stood up, terrified. Who is that? She asked, but the knock came again, followed by the sound of footsteps. She walked slowly to the door, and again the knock came. Ama screamed and ran to the bathroom. But the knock didn't stop. It came again at the bathroom door, and again and again. Ama decided to open the door, but didn't see anybody. She looked around, and nobody was there. She asked with a shaky voice, "Who is that?" But nobody answered. She closed the door and tiptoed to her bed to sleep. It didn't take long. She heard a footstep coming towards her. She screamed and ran out, panting heavily. She ran to the street, screaming like a mad woman. The next morning, Ama was still roaming around the streets of Accra, talking to herself. Ajua had to take her in, thinking it was because she was alone and maybe missing her late husband. But it continued, and soon it got to a point where the only word that Ama said is, "I didn't mean to." While looking at a particular spot, Ajua took her to different psychiatric hospitals, but instead of getting better, she got worse. And one night, after 3 weeks of staying at Ajua's house, Ama suddenly started screaming, waking everybody up. That night, she was screaming and pointing towards the mirror. "Please, don't come close to me. I didn't mean to." Ajua and Kwame barged into her room and saw her pointing at the mirror, terrified. Ajua ran to hold her, but she screamed louder. "He's coming closer. Tell him to leave me alone," she said. "But nobody is there, Ama. You are scaring me," Ajua said. But Ama rolled to the floor, still shouting, "He's flogging me. No, I didn't mean to kill him. I only wanted to control him. Make it stop, please. Make it stop," Ama confessed. Ajua and Kwame looked at each other and ran out of the room, afraid. For 2 days, Ama cried non-stop, and on the 3rd day, Ajua and Kwame took Ama, who now looked thinner and pale, a shadow of herself, to Kumasi, to their parents. When they got there, Ama, now weak, fell to the ground and cried, "I am sorry. I wanted to control Richard so as to get back at you. I didn't know it would kill him. I went to a witch doctor to give me a substance so I can be in control. But now I realize I was competing with who wasn't competing with me. I am sorry," she said to Ajua, who left her there and went with her husband back to Accra. Ama stayed in Kumasi, raving mad, walking around the streets of Kumasi, muttering the words, "I didn't mean to herself. And soon, the children started following her, singing, "Auntie Ama, I didn't mean to. Auntie Ama, I didn't mean to." And she would always dance to it. The villagers pitied her sometimes, and some would say it serves her right. Whenever anybody starts dressing elegantly, walking proudly, the elders in Kumasi would say that was how Ama started. Parents would use her as a bad example while advising their children. They would say, "Do not let power drive you into darkness. Be like Ajua, don't be like Ama." So besties, what do you think about this story? Please share with me what you think about this story at the comment section. Thank you for watching this story. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. It is free. Thank you and remain blessed.